English going on. I can't even make heads or tails of what people are saying. Alright, so we're moving on to Titus's USB. So it's a blitzball, which means it's a ranged relic, which means excellent for using Sapphire Shot. A day to remember. Ugh, the Mandy Moore relic. We have grants attached water, X Ace, and instant cast 1. Let's see what that X Ace does. Attack plus 3% and cast shoot and run after using a water attack. So you got the instant cast 1 on entry, which is nice. And then shoot and run. Let's take a look at this chase and see if it's any good. And off the bat, we have 1.92. It's kind of low. But here's the benefit. 6 single ranged attacks. So it has a lower multiplier, but a gigantic, not damage potential, because it's not going to ever hit 60,000 damage on your chase. That's a pipe dream. Don't even think that's going to happen. What this is for chasing, or chasing and building chain. And remember, Titus has the water CSB, so both of these used together could be really interesting. A 4-hit. I know it was a walk to remember. It was a bit of a stretch, but I don't know. I thought it was a good stretch. So a 4-hit Sapphire Shot and a 6-hit chase that comes right after it. That's 10 notches on the chain every single action that he makes, and the first action that he makes after using the USB is instantaneous. So he is a chain building machine. He can deal a lot of water damage by himself with just his USB, but just an excessive amount with his CSB and his USB. So let's take it as Legend Dive and see if that works together with his USB at all. %35 chance to dual cast water abilities. Remember that chaining thing? That's pretty nice. That's pretty nice. Grants attached water at the beginning of the battle. That's also nice because what you're going to be doing is using the CSB first. Yeah. Titus gets kind of crazy. And water is not an easy element to hit. Titus starts getting up into edge tier with his water damage potential using his relics. And remember, he has, by default, if you have his USB, you have a 6-star plus water damage relic equipped on him. This is a good USB, and he's a good character. So I think this is a really nice way to start out the banner. Next up, we have Shantotto and her USB, the Federation Signet Staff. Yeah, no, Titus hasn't been bad in this game for a long time, which is just confusing to me on so many levels. Shantotto, oh, this is her Legend Dive. A 1,000 Suns, 10 single attacks, grants attach lightning and X dual cast magic to the user. Attach lightning, dual cast magic. Let's see what this dual cast magic is all about. Magic plus 30%, 100% chance to dual cast witch abilities, consuming an extra ability use. Interesting. Yeah, Sketch. The FF10 banners all just suck. So it's weird that Titus is as good as he is. Titus BSB2 is good. I agree. I remember liking it. I kind of forget what it actually does. But when I think of Titus's strength, I remember him as being the first OSB that gave a 6-star relic with plus elemental damage on it. It's a plus water sword, which is as good as it was back then as it is now. It's just always going to be an awesome relic, and I want it a lot. So chance to dual cast witch abilities, consuming an extra ability use. This is okay. Let's go take a look at the 5-star witch abilities and see like what it is that we can get out of this, and see if it can add up to other people. And we're gonna find out that it does. We get Hell Thunder. So a 2.6 cast time for 8.1 multiplier over 6 attacks. This means for a 2.6 cast time, which is over the cast time of a Soul Break, by the way. So that is something to remember. But that's okay, and we're going to see that why in a second. This is a 16.2 multiplier over that 12.6. So it is like casting a Soul Break every single turn. You're just going to have to high hone Hell Thunder, and you're okay with doing that. And here's where Shantotto shines. That slow cast time makes it so there's a lot of other lightning damage dealers that will do more damage than Shantotto can with just her USB. But the fun doesn't stop there. Shantotto gets a Bart's-like LMR eventually. 10% chance to dual cast witch abilities twice, which is basically plus 2 attacks. So that allows her to, yeah, if you're thinking about what this is doing, she's very similar to Orlando and his USB. You aren't dual casting witch abilities with her USB. You're casting them twice. It's different. They're separate casts, and the dual cast is a interrupt. It's an additional and can't proc things. When you use her USB, it casts the ability twice. It uses 2 ability charges, and each one can trigger things, like chases, like this LMR. So you could potentially triple cast twice. She can 6-hit twice with that witch ability. For just an insane amount of damage and chaining potential. Remember, she has the lightning chain available to her. So this is good by itself, and then let's take a step further and take a look at her LM2. Play rough mode when she falls below 20%. She has a trance. Magic plus 30%, defense and resistance minus 30%, cast speed times 3. The one drawback of all of this is that she has a 2.6 cast speed on those Hell Thunders. Not if you remove 66% of that cast speed. Shantotto becomes a god. And actually makes 5-star witch abilities good. How would I use Shantotto Fighter, USB, CSB, and BSB? Well, BSB becomes out of the question. You just don't use it anymore. It's only attached lightning at that point, and you're getting that with her USB. What I do is probably use her. Use her similar to Titus. It's interesting that they're on the same banner because they're very similar thematically. One being lightning mage and the other being physical water. You use the CSB, and then you go into USB, and then you use it. Remember, this is cast speed times 3 blanket. Cast speed times 3. So you use this at the beginning of the fight to get her into trance and get all this rolling quickly. So you have the cast speed times 3 ready to cast out her CSB, ready to cast out her her USB, and then Hell Thunder. on the chain. No, it's worth comparing to Ashe. I think it's better than Ashe. I think it's better than Ashe. But it's a lot more complicated. The Rumbling Rose, thank you very much for the follow. I know you've been here since the beginning of the stream. I really appreciate it. It's complicated to make Shantotto that good. Remember, she does need her CSB and USB. With just her USB and a Legend Dive, she can be really, really good. And she rivals Ashe at that level with their just their USBs. I guess it's the fact that Shantotto can also get a USB or the CSB on top of that further makes her better. So that's a nice thing that gives Shantotto an advantage. But remember, this is a gacha game, and that's a really important distinction to make. Ashe's gacha is easier to fulfill than Shantotto's. As far as getting that CSB. If you already have Shantotto's CSB, that makes this a really, really interesting banner for you. But let's say I don't. And I need Final Fantasy XII Synergy. The Ashe banner that's going to be launching for Final Fantasy XII is very awesome. It's very, very, very good. And that kind of like settles it, right? If you have Shantotto's CSB right now, that makes this banner fantastic. If you don't, and you're in the market for Final Fantasy XII Synergy, that makes the Final Fantasy XII banners fantastic. I don't know, I think it would be overkill to use both of them. I would really love to see a video that does use both of them, because they're both sickening amounts of lightning damage. Shantotto base stats, yeah, but not by much. And remember, yeah. Not by much. It's like negligible, Sir Kill. I mean, Shantotto has the highest magic in the game. But Ashe just isn't that far behind. Shantotto is a 226. Ashe 216. 10 magic. And the chain does give quick cast too. And not like it really does all that much at that point. Because she's already getting ×3 cast speed if you've done it properly and triggered her trance. What are the chances her LMR comes with her USB next banner? I'd say the chances are pretty good. And I suppose that's the point I'm trying to make, is that it's harder to assemble Shantotto than it is Ashe. Because Ashe's USB does come on the same banner that has her LMR. How do you trigger a trance? You bring her below 20% health. So you attack her. Well, Raccoon, yeah, I mean, that's true. But overall, that's kind of a weak banner. And this is not. This is not a weak banner. For all the, tiny B jokes aside, that's obviously a miss on this banner, but this is a very strong banner. And it's strong in multiple ways. Like, I will trade Pain's stuff for Shantotto's in a heartbeat. Well, maybe Solus, but I don't think having her burst means anything anymore. Having her burst and her CSB together is cool, and it's very powerful, but her USB just completely replaces her BSB. You're using that for the quick casts, right? But now you just want to be using which abilities instead with her USB. Next up. So, I mean, we have two, like, some pretty good stuff here. Yagyu Darkblade. Vaan's USB is actually kind of cool and does a hell of a lot of damage. Non-elemental damage, too, which is important. It stinks at like a fair amount of its power is gated or like devoted to debuffing, which means it makes it a little less useful in Magicite, but it's still so powerful with Thief's Revenge, with all this together, that it does make a significant source of non-elemental damage. And then outside of Magicite dungeons, it's just absurd. So 10 random attacks, which is good because it applies a debuff. So versus a single target, you're getting your maximum damage potential, and versus multi-target, you're applying the debuff across multiple targets. This is, I say that a lot, but I got to reiterate every now and then. And attack and resistance plus 30% to the user, so it, debuffs and buffs him. And is also instant cast? Yes, it is. So that increases its DPS. Not commands. Oh my goodness, why is Enleer's being so slow? I guess I know why Enleer's is being so slow. It's festival time. So he also grants X Sky Pirate to the user, which is a very important status. Thief abilities deal 30% more damage, and it gives him just instant cast speed on thief abilities, just like Zidane's Trance. But the thief abilities deal 30% more, cast speed that much for thief, means that he can do a lot of different things now, ever since the ability upgrade. Next rage. I am tempted to eventually get ×2 Thief Dagger wind ability if I get Vaan's USB, one for him and one for Ferris, and I have 2 damage dealers to extreme debuffing. Yeah, it'd be good. So what I like about Sky Pirate now, ever since the ability upgrade happened, is that now Vaan, with his non-elemental entry, is good there. It's fine there. But what Vaan can do from that point on is actually deal a significant amount of wind damage as well. Obviously, Zidane is much better at it, because he's Imperil Winding and all that shit. He is much better at it, but Vaan is good in a multitude of situations because he can either use Dash and Slash at instant cast speed with 30% extra damage, or he can use Thief's Revenge. Thief's Revenge is the ideal pairing because those 5 hits have a high damage potential with a 3.5 base multiplier. It's really good. And the fact that he just basically can't die because you're instant casting something that's going to full heal him every single turn. And it's non-elemental as well, so it's useful in a wide variety of situations. So I think when I would use Vaan is whenever I could find an excuse to use that attack and resistance minus 50% debuff that he applies on entry. Yeah, I agree, Solus. Vaan's BSB is still fantastically relevant. It's just different. You don't use these together. His USB and BSB are not meant to be used together. So this is a decent USB. It's not going to blow you out of the water, especially because it doesn't really have a whole lot of value in Magicite going for it, but it's still very good, and Vaan is a good character, and it's gonna find you're gonna find usefulness out of it. Definitely not on the same tier as the 2 relics that come before it, but still good. Next up, we have Tidal Knuckles for Riku. This is an excellent USB, a plus water fist weapon, which is one of a kind, and very useful for a character named Edge. Is among others. And the the entry is really easy because it doesn't have an X mode or anything like that. It's really easy to go over because it's just strictly utility based. And it's on Riku, which is important because Riku's a really good character. Cue the Final Fantasy X music that just started up. We have attack and magic plus 30% and grants protect, shell, and haste to the party. This is an interesting thing because it's nice for hybrid Magicite parties. Granting protect and shell is usually kind of wasteful since you can normally get that from casting abilities on the party itself. But what the advantage to this is you can get these and not spend turns casting them. That's awesome because in 30-second clears, the less turns you have to deal or you have to spend using utility, the better. You want to be spending them doing damage. And one of the great things about Riku is she has great elemental coverage. So she's not obviously not an entruster because she's not a support, she's a dancer support. So you use this utility buff at the start of the fight, and then her great ability coverage, being a sharpshooter and a machinist, gives her power or access to some really powerful elemental abilities. Sapphire Shot, Tempest Snipe, though that's water and that's lightning. There is eventually going to be 2 more machinist abilities for ice and fire, so she gets ice damage and fire damage as well. Really, really, really powerful stuff coming from her ability pool. And just a great addition to a lot of Magicite parties. So I really like Riku's USB a lot. There's Icicle Shot, but there will be the 5-star Machinist ability. That's actually a 6-hit ice. Which is more powerful than Icicle Shot. I think it has a lower multiplier, so there may be situations in which you want to use Icicle Shot instead. Especially on Magicite, they have such high stats that you're probably not going to be exceeding 40,000 damage. So getting the added bonus from Icicle Shot is better if you're using a ranged weapon. But anyway, you get the point. She has great ability pool. Great ability pool, and she's like an Onion Knight level useful character. Not on Onion Knight's level, but just on the step below. So this is a great addition to the banner, Title Knuckles. So I really like this top end. Our worst relic here. The worst relic we get here is Vaan's USB. And that's not bad at all. It's actually really good. So we got a good top end so far. First up, we get this out of the way real quickly. Tiny B is awful. And that's all there is to that. So we got a miss right away. Oops. Oopsie poopsie. I know there are some wild characters out there that actually want this relic, but I'm not one of them. Alright, so now that we've got that of our systems. Orange Halcom Dirk. Vaan's BSB is separate in usefulness from his USB, because what it does is it has support commands on the burst. And an instant cast entry, and does a magic and defense minus 40% on cast. Instant cast entry. I probably said that twice, that's okay. It always will be useful. It's one of the most powerful bursts that the game has ever seen. It's not what it used to be because there's more debuffs in the game now, but it's like it's like a classic. I want it just to frame it and put it on a wall and actually just still use it because it is useful. It is still useful. But this is a nice pickup if you don't have it already. No, Mist, you're missing the point, I think. Would you rather deal with the banner or the barrier, or would you rather not? That's the question I'm posing to you right now. For Golem, do you want to hit the barrier, or do you want to not hit the barrier? Which would you rather? Yes, they're better. That's it. That's all we needed. Magical Wind is better. Saburo Sukahiro. Jeez. And it only appears that it's overestimating the barrier. Because people are saying that Magical Wind is better. And they're right. Oh yeah, so Ayame's BSB is fantastic. I like that. Hot Drop is absolutely 100% correct. Saburo Sukahiro is Japanese for awesome physical ice relic. One of the best in the game. On the same level as Squall's BSB2. It's a lot more simple to use, and there's a lot less gimmickry. It doesn't have as high of a damage output overall, but it can potentially be better in certain situations because mistakes happen or interruptions happen, and that you can throw a wrench in the gears of the Squall BSB2. You cannot do that for Ayame's. Because all she has is, access to Hailstorm, access to a Dark Bargain command, and access to a Ninja Cast Time Ice command. Really just great. Great, and there's no way you can stop it. Yeah, you use Squall's BSB2 until you have 3 charges of the first command. Which you can get through dual casting as well, and then use his second command. Yep. I know a lot of people don't want to deal with that headache, but it's worth it. Ayame is a really powerful character as well. She's not only a 5-star Spellblade, but she is a 5-star Samurai, which gives her a lot of Snow Spell Strike, Hailstorm. She's just good. She's just really good. And her BSB is really strong for Ice. And Ice is a rare element to get, so if people are looking for, that Water and Lightning that we talked about on this banner, or this is all, you can also consider this water, because not only is it a water fist, but she has the ability to deal a lot of water damage with Sapphire Shot. It's Ice as well, and that's another rare element we can add on to that. Oh, yeah, No, she gets Mikio Shisui on entry, Dragon. And that's one of the more powerful aspects of her burst, is because the Mikio Shisui is bonus. Yeah. So she gets plus 30 attack and plus 30% resistance on entry, and then plus 30% attack and minus 30% defense with a command. The katana is not plus ice. So, like Celeste, she self-buffs herself to infinity. So she's like, oh, alright, you want to run a mage team with Adia? Well, I don't care, because I can do that. And Adia says, oh yeah, well, you want to run a physical team with Ayame? Well, I can do that. Memento Mori and Stitch in Time. Both of these characters are just fantastic. Okay, so we got Oron's BSB2 here. I need to go and take a look at this because I haven't seen it in a while. I'm pretty sure it's just mediocre. No problem, Morgul. Tornado. 6 group. Grants haste, attach fire. No, I don't think Riku's Legend Dive is good at all. She gets quick cast with Machinist ability, doesn't she? That's not bad. That's not bad once we get the new Machinist abilities. Yeah, 4 single targets and 2 single with Dark Bargain. Yeah, this BSB sucks. Oh well. Ooh, Afmao. Oh, or LMR is the Machinist? Never mind. LM2 is buff duration. Yeah, her Legend Dive sucks. Oh well, sorry Riku. Did I? Afmao's BSB is really, really good. It's just basically a copy of Yuna's BSB 2, for those who've seen it. Not plus holy armor. Doesn't have that going for it, but it's actually it's another summoner thing, and allows her to deal lightning damage and single target lightning damage with her second command instead of area of effect non-elemental. Now there's going to be I guess maybe a situation or two where you don't want that, but it's lightning non-elemental, not strictly lightning. So it's not like you're hindered by it. And it's summoning damage as well, so it's not going to elicit counters, so when is this a bad thing? I really do just view this as a direct upgrade to Yuna's BSB 2. And that's great. It's great. I think Afmao is one of the better healers in the entire game. And makes her a really potent healer for any battle where you need lightning damage, because that's a crazy amount of damage that you're receiving for free from your healer. And one of the better parts of her BSB over Yuna's is, remember, after you use Yuna's entry on the first turn, if you want to get that extra damage on her her second command, you need to use the first command, which doesn't do anything for Yuna. Afmao's does. Afmao uses a single target cure on the lowest HP party member of your party, which is like a world of difference between doing nothing at all. Because you don't ever want your healer to not be healing, because stuff is going to happen and you want to react to it, you know, before it becomes a dangerous thing to not react to it. 15-2. I don't know if Afmao... Okay, yeah. Here's another advantage. I remember even talking about this on the latest Final Fantasy XI preview, is that all of her abilities are WHT type instead of SUM type. So it's not SUM, so she will do counters. The benefit to this is that the healing that is done on her second command, so she does 2 single attacks at 5.14 each. That's actually a decent multiplier. So even if you're doing non-elemental damage, it's a fair amount of damage. For like record dive and legend dive purposes, that means because it's WHT type, while Yuna's is SUM type, that means she gets bonus healing, where Yuna does not. Yuna's Medica is actually kind of weak. She has a Cura entry, and like a weaker Medica because she has no benefit from any of her Record Dive or Legend Dive increased healing potential. So yeah, that's a thing. 10.28 is a nice multiplier, and you always have the 4 single attacks for 10.48 and grants and restores HP 60 to lowest ally. Yeah, you don't do that. You're going to activate and get your HP 60 heal, and then you're going to use the command 2, the buffed up command 2. I really like this BSB a lot. I really like Afma as a healer. Her USB is one of the best healer USBs in the game. And this is a great way to extend the capability of the character. And here we fall off just for a second. Seymour is not a good character, and his BSB kind of blows. I want to read exactly what it does, because like Oron, I read it for the first time when it came out, and I dismissed it. Animus Pain causes Imperil Dark. Oh, it's one of those. Like, we don't have enough Imperil Dark Mage BSBs. But I remember the commands being not nearly as, good as Kuja or Nabat. Nabat, her value coming from her support capability. Yeah, causes instant KO 9%. Aces, Seymour. You're the friggin' man. 2 group attacks that cause slow. Yeah, I use Lightning's BSB 1 all the time for that shit. Yeah, this is a really bad BSB. Unless you're, desperate. Seriously desperate for an Imperil Dark Mage BSB. I can confirm that they're good, but I think the one that I have is good because Nabat has, support access. Right, Epic Wander sums it up in a line. With Kuja, Nabat, and Xdef having Imperil Dark Mage BSBs that are all really good, Seymour just is like, I don't know what I'm doing. I do believe you're correct, Solus, that the rod is plus dark. Next up we have something that not a lot of people use, but I find really nice, and I think I would love to have this on my my Ice Magicite team, is Rex's BSB. Rex's BSB is a haste plus attack 30% plus defense 30% entry to everybody. That's already really good for physical teams, and then he adds on to it by having 2 separately amazing commands. One is a non-elemental command that does 4 hits. I think 4 hits, whatever. You don't use it for the damage, but you do get nice damage out of it, and also heals your lowest health party member for, I believe, 25% of their HP, or 30. We'll go take a look. Rex, where are you, buddy? 25%. That's a second command. So it has a Seador command. And it's a non-elemental. And then, if you happen to be... if you happen to be fighting a, Bismarck or Fenrir, Lightning and Ice, 2.4 multiplier. That does 4 single attacks with an increased multiplier. So you're going to be dealing 3.0 damage if you're exploiting elemental weakness. So he has that available to him too. It's just really good. It's really good in 2 Magicite dungeons specifically, or against 2 elements, and is valuable elsewhere because that HP heal is really valuable. Remember, I haven't spoken up about it on this stream, but having extra healing is really nice because it allows you to use the more risky healer capabilities. Healer BSBs are always going to output the most throughput when it comes to healing. And sometimes the sheer amount of damage that gets unleashed by these bosses, they need a little help. And that's what the Healing Edge provides to that. And yes, Rex is a Spellblade 5. So He's kind of like Riku in that regard, and that's awesome that both Riku's USB and Rex's BSB are on this banner because they provide some really cool things. He does this and can just Spellblade afterwards to provide additional benefit to the party across a variety of different elements. And the as Solus just mentioned, his 4-star moat gives him plus Spellblade damage. And his command that does damage, but does elemental damage, is also Spellblade. While the other one is Knight for some reason. Really, they were just ripping it from Seodor, I guess. So I really like this BSB. I think it's a huge benefit to the banner. Karilla's BSB, less enthused about. It's got a cool entry buff. Attack and defense 35% to the entire party, right? Or attack defense 50%? Butt Stuff. Hello. Good evening and welcome. It's not even going to tell me here, isn't it? Intervention. It's plus, yeah, okay, 30-50. That's a good party buff. And I'm okay with this BSB. It's kind of a better version of Cecil's BSB. Cecil BSB 2 gives him Sentinel, which makes him into like a kind of a weirdo Guardbringer type thing, but he doesn't get Unholy, and neither does Karilla. I don't know. I like it. I think I'd rather be getting attack buffs from elsewhere. It's just the defense buff that stacks with everything. It's kind of cool. I just find issue with this because it doesn't make her that strong. It just buffs the party. Her command 2 is Sentinel, sure. So she's a Guardbringer with no Unholy and no Imperial Holy. It's just naked Guardbringer. Think about when I was talking about the second banner. Ooh. Thank you very much for the subscription, Scattershot. Remember I was talking about Cecil's USB on the first banner? Knights are good characters, not because they're tanks, and not because they deal holy damage. Knights are good characters because they're tanky and can deal good holy damage. Cecil's USB allows him to be tanky, just crazy tanky with that HP stock, and the defense plus 100%, and the ability to use draw fire. All that together, and have Unholy and deal a ton of holy damage. Karilla sacrifices the ability to deal real damage, and instead just buffs the party. I personally don't see all that much benefit from it. And second to last, we have both years BSB2, which I like. It is a Imperil Fire with a mechanic similar to Squall's BSB2, just not damage focused, and instead of damage focused, it's more focused on inflicting Imperil Fire. He's one of those characters that can, by himself, inflict a ton of Imperil Fire. And I think it's personally really good. However, as I've been saying, I like Balthier as a pull off of the coming Final Fantasy XII banner. It's an Ashe and Balthier focused banner. So obviously, if you pull his BSB2 here, and maybe Ashe's BSB as well. It becomes less enticing, but his USB and Ashe's USB are really the things that really bring them into the future. Yeah. I mean, I think his BSB2 is good. I would personally use it. If anyone's seen my my Sea Lion group, it's really just Refia and 4 people that either buff or or keep Refia alive, and I can get 38 seconds with that group, and that's pretty cool. I think I'd be able to push 30 seconds if I got this. Balthier's best fire imperil? I would say it is, yes. Yeah, I think so. What I could do if I got this and was able to full stack Imperil with just Balthier, that would allow me to remove 30% damage off of Refia. Because she would be doing more damage because of the Imperil. And I could use the Thunder God status from Orlandu instead and make her just deal a ton of damage even faster. That is what would give me my 30-second clear, is that potential. And lastly, we have Ashe's Defiance, a really old BSB, but still a fairly decent one. I think what's really nice about it is the plus lightning light armor that has plus 17 magic on it. It's a really good stat stick, especially for Magicite. And the BSB itself is a lot of single target damage that doesn't pay the tax. Thank you. Man, you speak in tongues. Thank you very much for the 500 bits, Nerd Girl. Charity is over, unfortunately. It's still a good burst. I still use it. I use it on my Bismarck clears. I hope to upgrade it in the future to Ashe's USB, but it's still good. Oh, no. Sharp Charity's going to stay around for a long time, Schizophrenic. I'm going to make sure of that. So, this banner's kind of interesting. Remember, we get lightning from Aphmau, we get lightning from Ashe, we get lightning from Shantotto, we get water, we get lots of elements from Riku, we get ice, and we get what do you do again? You do ice and lightning. Yeah, ice and lightning on you. So, and fire here. This is like a multi-elemental banner with only a couple like sour spots. Karilla's is still good, just, it's just good. Seymour's is bad. Oron's is very, average. And Tiny B is just awful. But other than that, there's a lot of good stuff on this banner. I kind of like this banner a lot. Well, Lock USB is a USB. We said BSBs. Sketch. Tiny B greater than Seymour BSB 1? No. Tiny B is useful to nobody, while Seymour's BSB 1 is useful to people without an Imperial Dark on their Dark Mage team. He's still fine if you've got a Sid Reigns. You deal a lot of magic damage. Tiny B is just bad. Though, who was it that's in chat that has actually used Tiny B to get a last hit on a boss? Because Tiny B is like her OSB. Okay, that is more accurate, Miss Saren. I will agree with that. That was Jimbo, okay. I knew somebody had. So this is actually a really good banner. The top end is good. It's all good. Good or better. 2 elemental relics. Yeah, I like this banner a lot. How's everyone else feel? What's Waka's super? Aurochs Reels causes blind and poison 100%. No. No, not even close. That's so bad. I don't know. I will readily knock on Tiny B all day, every day. Kind of missed your overview because I was on my way to work, but definite pull target for me. The only dupe is Riku's USB, but that's a great dupe, which would only increase the effectiveness of my Legend Dived Edge. Pretty happy with the banner overall. Yep, that's a good banner for you. Honestly, it's a tough sell, but Banner 4 and Banner 5 have, if I have any saved from Banner 3. Yeah, if I got Alma's BSB, I would be less inclined to pull on the banner. Definitely Cup Noodles. I think that's fair. Solus. Reks BSB is something that not many people have. The first banner it showed up on was really bad. And this is something that is going to be valuable to just about everybody. Afmao as well. Not a lot of people want to pull on Final Fantasy XI. They want to get rare synergy off of festival banners. And hello. Same thing with Ayame. Riku's USB was on a bad banner. And we get it on a good banner here. It's nothing to complain about there. Same thing with Vaan's USB and Rex's BSB. This is first timer and this is first timer. What's nice about Titus's USB is that Final Fantasy X just has bad banners. So it may be a popular realm, but I still want to get Final Fantasy X stuff on. Stuff like this. I mean, I'm considering pulling on this banner. Me too, Shadow. Me too. I can't lie. Can't lie. Can't lie about my own desires. Trying to be more inclusive, Will. Well, it really is. I swear too much. Way too much. So I don't want to lean on profanity as much.
Not drunk enough.
Thank you very much, Jimbo. Here's a good opportunity for me to say, we have a 750 bit boss at the moment. When the bit boss reaches 1000 and it gets slain, I Every time that happens, I will reset it, and when I reset it, I will do a public multiplayer critique night for Record Keeper. We will go into public multiplayers and just really rip into mistakes that people make. So that's an incentive to do that. If all y'all are able to get the bits. Would it be too much to compare it to the Ashe USB banner? Will I do it in the hot dog suit? Yes, I will do it in the hot dog suit. Hot dog makes fun of Record Keeper players. Just kill this boss. I don't want her mug on my stream anymore. Yeah, I need to darken the background image a bit. Hold on, I can actually do that. See this? We're gonna get creative. $310.76. That is absolutely not $310.76. $481.18. Oh no. What was I putting down? Uh-oh. I think we messed up my stream. How about that, huh? Man, I'm so good. Now I just have to find out what I was, the layer that I was moving down before I started moving the black layer down to be below the bit boss. It's the same source that I have behind the chat box. So, I just changed Nobody wants to hear about this shit. I don't know what Dirge is talking about right now. I'm just so, like, enamored by neat little things. So I have a little transparent thing to make the chat pop out. So I just figured it would work for the Bit Boss too. Okay, well, all that diversion's done. We're done with that. Do you want me... Someone brought up at the Ashe USB banner. I think it was possibly Shadow. If you're still around, bring that up after I get through the... after I get through all 5 banners. And we can take a look at it. If anyone can think of event banners that are coming in the future that would be worth taking a look at just in case we can find better fits for our needs. And the Ashe USB banner is a big one for this banner because we get Vaan USB. We get... Is Vaan's BSB on it too? I think that's 2. We get Reks BSB, and we get Balthier BSB, and we get Ashe USB. So Ashe USB would overwrite the usefulness of Ashe's BSB. So this is it has a huge overlap with that banner. So that's an important banner to look at after. Just, you're going to have to bring them up later. Penella's BSB2 and LMR are on the Ashe USB banner. It's actually like a crazy realm banner. Well, I know his USB is. And I guess his BSB isn't. I don't remember it being there. I just remember the banner being crazy. And Lars's BSB is also on the banner. It's just a crazy banner. It's really nice. Alright. So let's move on. Oh, wait. Someone gave me an at. Do we have any math of the weighing of items on these? Well, yeah, there's 14 relics on the banners, and they're all 1% each. Let's count them. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis. That's as far as I can count in Spanish. Oh, there's a nueve in there, isn't there? That sounds like 7. Alright, so 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 relics for 14%. 1% each. Siete, ocho, nueve is 9. I should have known. A lot of 9s start with N in the Romance languages. Okay, so we're going to move on to the last banner. We're at